Hello everyone, welcome to this information session. This online information session is for international students who would like to attend the English Proficiency Exam this year. I just wanted to begin with the equivalency that we do accept. Uh, if you have completed an international exam, we do accept IELTS 6.5 and a TOEFL IBT 79 over 20. For further information about our exemptions, you can go over to our website, and there's a whole list of international exams over there that we do accept. Now, what is the EPE? This is something we'll be talking about today, but take a look at these questions here and think about what might be the answers. I'll give you a few seconds. All right, let's begin. So, the EPE has three stages. Stage 1 is called the EPL. Now this happens on September 10th. EPL stands for English Placement Level. If you achieve a high score, you will then be asked to come to stage 2 the next day. The purpose of the EPL is to kind of determine what your English level is. So are you an elementary speaker of English, intermediate, or upper? Now, what it means to pass the EPL is that if you get a score which places you above intermediate, that means you're an upper student, you are then required to do the EPE, which is stage 2 and 3. Now, the EPL stage 1 is on September 10th. Um, you'll have to see our online website, our ELS website, the announcements section. We'll post the room number uh, with your name so you know where you have to be. The exam starts at 10 o'clock on September 10th. Try to be there a bit earlier, 9:45. You can be there at 9:30. That's good too. But arrive early. Don't forget to bring your ID. So if you don't have your university ID, please bring your passport with you. Now this is an example of what is in the EPL. We're testing two things here, the language use and vocabulary. So language use kind of means grammar. So we're testing your grammar and your vocabulary. Here's an example of a grammar question here. Now, the way the EPL is created, it goes from easy to difficult. And with the vocabulary section here, again, the vocabulary is at the elementary, intermediate, and upper levels. And it progressively becomes uh, more difficult. Now, the EPL is all multiple choice. Here are some strategies on how to study for stage 1. We have this wonderful useful links website. It's if you go through TEDU, go into English Language School, and then go on and click on useful links. So there's a whole list there that you can use to help you study. Try to review basic grammar rules. Um, Present perfect, present progressive, past perfect. Just get an understanding of them. It's if you Google present perfect, and you'll get a worksheet. Try to complete those worksheets. Just get used to doing grammar questions. And of course, it's always good to practice finding the meaning of a word from the context. This will help you in vocabulary. Um, So, for example, we might give you a sentence and you don't know the vocabulary word. So, what strategy would you use to figure out what the vocabulary word means? These are some further strategies we use during a test. Always read the instructions thoroughly, underline the instructions, see what the important parts are of the instructions. Attempt to read every possible answer to a same question. Um, Look at eliminate. Use the elimination method. See which answers aren't correct, which answers might be possible. Remember, this is a multiple choice exam. Don't think about the entire test. Don't overwhelm yourself. Pay attention to one section of the test at a time. Reread when necessary so that you can select the correct answer. The best advice here is that try to give yourself at least 1 minute per question. That's the maximum. You may be able to answer the questions in a much less time. Avoid guesswork. Try to answer the questions by reasoning. If you find the questions too difficult, skip it and then come back to it. Now, one important thing in the EPL is that if you want to change the answer, don't cross it out in the optical form. Make sure you erase it completely. If you don't have an eraser, ask one of the invigilators and they'll be able to help you. And always check your answers. Now, the stage one was EPL. And so you've been successful in completing the EPL. You've received an upper grade for EPL. You'll be invited to do the EPE then, which is in two stages, stage 2 and stage 3. If you are successful in EPL, we'll announce it on our website and you'll see your name and a room number for the next day. The EPE happens on September 11th, and this time it starts at 9 o'clock in the morning. You have to be in class at 8:45. Earlier, the better. Please remember, for EPL and for EPE, EPE, no late students will be admitted. So what happens in the stage 2 of EPE? You'll start off with integrated writing and independent writing. You have to write around 250 to 300 words for each section. And we give you a time limit of 60 minutes. You'll then have a break for 15 minutes. And then you'll come back and you'll do the reading and listening section, which are around 50 questions. Let's look closer in the writing section. Integrated writing means that you'll listen to something first and then we'll ask you a question and you have to write about it. A sample of this is available online to give you an example of what integrated writing is. It's similar to what the TOEFL exam does. You will listen to an academic lecture and then you will be asked to write about it. Make sure you read the questions carefully because it could be a variety of questions related to the listening. In independent writing, you'll be given a topic and you will write about that topic. Again, it'll be between 250 to 300 words. Now, these topics are very similar to the IELTS exam. Sometimes you have to write your opinion on something. Sometimes we'll be asking you a question about a variety of topics. The topics are not topics that you won't know about. It's not something that you need to have a deep knowledge about. Remember, in writing, we're looking for how well you organize your content. So, organization. We're checking your grammar, uh, spelling, and your use of appropriate vocabulary. So, how can you study for this writing section? Practice your academic writing every day until the day of the exam. Try writing 250 to 300 words in 20 minutes, and then spend 10 minutes looking over your writing and correct any mistakes. You can Google academic writing topics, and you'll get a whole list of websites which will give you topics. What the important part of writing is that you have to write nearly 300 words in a limited time. And you have to be careful for organization, grammar, content, and vocabulary. Now, after the writing section, you have a 15-minute break. After that, you'll be doing the reading and listening sections. Now, these sections are again multiple choice sections. To practice for these sections, you have to try to look at IELTS and TOEFL academic reading samples. Try answering those questions. For listening, you can always Google online academic listening practice, and you'll get a whole list of websites where you have to listen and answer questions. Now, these are reading comprehension questions and listening comprehension questions. So, for example, in reading, we might ask you a question about what is the main idea of this reading? There are multiple readings and they go from easy to more difficult. Same thing with the listening. You're listening to something easy and then it'll become more difficult. And then you're asked to answer the questions. So you're done with EPE Stage 2. On the same day, September 11th, we have the Stage 3 of EPE. The rooms and the timings for your speaking exam will be announced online on our ELS website. For the speaking exam, it's an integrated speaking exam. You'll read and then you'll be asked some questions and then you'll have to speak for a maximum 2 minutes. We'll have the online sample on our website, so please do check that out. Alright, so here are some speaking strategies. Try to talk as much as you can, but make sure you talk about the questions, the relevant content. Don't go out of content, out of topic. Stay within the topic. Organize your talk. Make sure you have an introduction, you give some arguments, and then you have a conclusion. Talk as fluently as possible and be spontaneous. Relax, be confident, and enjoy using your English. Make sure you develop your answers. Make sure you speak more than the examiner. Develop your arguments. If you give an exam, try to give examples, try to give reasons. And when the assessor asks you questions, you can ask for clarification. Try to express your opinions because we are assessing you on your ability to communicate. So the examiner's questions can be fairly predictable. Again, utilize Google speaking topics, and practice. Record yourself, practice with a friend. Now, let's go back to the first slide I had where we had the questions. I hope this info session has answered these questions. So the first one was, what date and time is the EPE exam? So it's September 10th, the EPL, and September 11th is the EPE stage 2 and 3. Now we do have another EPL and EPE exam on September 14th, but it's only for international students who were not in Turkey on September 10th and 11th. Sometimes you might have visa issues, or your visa might come late. So we have another day for that, so you don't have to stress about that. Just inform your international programs office and they'll be able to help you with that. So another question was, how many stages are there? 3 stages. Stage 1, EPL. Stage 2, listening, reading, and writing. And stage 3, we've got the speaking. Please do remember to bring your ID card. We cannot give you the exam if you don't have your ID card. Preferably, if you have your university ID card, bring that. If your university ID card has not been created yet, just bring in your passport. And please bring a pencil. So you need to achieve a score of 75% in the EPE, which is stage 2 and 3, to pass through, uh, to go directly into faculty. The results will be announced a few days after EPE. Again, it will be on our ELS website. Again, the last question here, which is very important, which classroom you have to be in for your exam. Please keep checking the ELS website. There's a yellow banner there, and it's the announcements page. So one way to get to the website is go to the TED University website, go into academics, go into English Language School, and once you're on that page, you'll see the announcements banner, and you go ahead and click on that. Now, if you have any further questions, please feel free to contact us, els at tedu.edu.tr, and we'll be happy to answer any questions. Our website is listed below, so if you want to get more information, you can just go there and get more information. That's it for now. Thank you very much for your attention, and I wish you all the best in your academic journey here at TED University.